Hey guys, I'm really tired right now. I'm about to go to bed here soon. I just got off of work and I decided to just do a quick video. Um, Today I wanted to talk about, like, the whole thing with, like, kids and stuff. Like, getting to, you know, trusting people and not like trusting the wrong people, get to know people before letting your kids go around them. As for myself personally, I don't have kids yet, but I know one day eventually, God willing, I will. But I just want to tell you guys like a quick brief story on myself when I was 14. And I was 14 in the 8th grade, and a lot of people know about this, but I just kind of like, after all these years, I kind of just want to like clear my name and lay it down because I've never talked about this publicly or spoke on it since this happened. A lot of people doubt and say, like, I lied about it or whatever, but I'm sorry, honey, but you just don't know me that well. So, what I'm about to tell you are facts from my experience that has happened. And basically, I was in the 8th grade. I'm not going to say where this person lives, or I'm not going to give you their information, but this was a person that worked in the school that I went to. He was a man, and he was probably in his 60s, and I was only 14. My mom, I believe, worked in the school that I went to, or maybe, yeah, I believe she did. My mom like cleaned and stuff in the school that I went to, and this guy, I noticed him one time at this event. Like, he was like with one of my older cousins, guy cousins, and everybody trusted him. Like, all the adults trusted him because he was a coach for like my uncle and other people. So they thought, like, oh, he's a good guy, we could trust him. And then he started going to my mom about like me, like, can Leslie go with me to get supplies for the school? She's like, yeah, without even like me knowing and me like agreeing. She was like, like giving him permission, like, yeah, I'll give her permission to go. He didn't even ask me yet, so she came to me and asked me. And I'm just kind of like, what? Like, that's so weird. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'll go. And I asked him, I'm like, well, can I bring a friend, And I never even really talked to this guy, so I found it kind of odd that he would even want me to like hang out with him. And he's like 60, and I'm like 14. So he's like, yeah, you could bring your friends. So I asked one of my friends, that was my best friend at the time, we are now out of contact. She was like a grade ahead of me or whatever. She was like in 9th grade or so. And I asked her, I'm like, hey, so and so wants, Mr. Whatever wants me to go with him. My mom said I can. So, I called her over the phone. She said, Mom, can I go with Leslie and so to get supplies for who? Yeah. Her mom automatically says, yeah, like go with her. Yes. So then we go with him. He gets like the stuff that he needs for the school. And it was like at Office Max or something. And then he stops and he's like, you guys can get whatever you want to eat, give us his credit card or whatever. So we got food and stuff. And we're like, like we're kids. So we're just like out late hungry. And then this happened like the first time. The second time it was, he asked me to go with him. And I'm like, okay. My mom said it was fine. She did the eating of it. So I'm like, okay, can I take a friend again? He's like, yeah. So, I asked my cousin to go, and so she went, and her dad said, yeah, who was my uncle. And so she went with us, and the same thing, like, he allowed us to get whatever we wanted after he got supplies. And then, like, he he always dropped me off last, and that was like the second time, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it was like 2 or 3 times that he asked us to go, so I went, and I always had a friend with me, and I think my cousin went the third time. The third time is when he had us in a school vehicle. He had us out late till like after 11 p.m. He dropped me off last, and he actually drank beer. He took us to, I believe, it was some restaurant, I can't remember. But he told us to order whatever we wanted and he would pay for it. So he was like, yeah. And he was acting silly by this time because he was like kind of tipsy, I believe. And it was just awkward, you know? Like, ew, piece of hair. He was like so awkward because I'm like, this guy is kind of weird. So we ended up like, that happened. Then like Christmas break rolls around and it's a blizzard outside. And my mom's phone rings, the home phone. So it's like a landline phone or whatever you want to call it. And my brother answers, I think. No, my mom answered, and then my brother made a joke about it, not knowing at the time, you know. And I thought, this is kind of weird. She's like, it's Mr. So-and-so. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, what does he want? So she thought it was okay, you know, like, go ahead, talk to him. So I talked to him, and then I'm like, where are you, you know? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm outside. Look out the window. I'm outside your house. So I look out. I'm like, gotta be kidding me. Like, I see his truck right in the front of my freaking mom's house. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, he's outside. Like, what the F is he doing here? So I'm like, you're here in a blizzard. And then I ask, where do you live? Because I didn't even know where he lived, which is crazy. And he's like, I live, you know, it was like miles, like maybe like 15 minutes away. And he had a wife at home and he has kids of his own, but he was like freaking stalking me going to my house on Christmas break when we were off for 2 weeks. And then he calls back, like altogether he called like four or five times, and after that he just kept calling. The last time that he called, I was like freaked the fuck out because he's like, you know, can I tell you something? We keep it between me and you. And I'm like, okay, what? You know, like I was kind of creeped out by this point, and I'm like, what? And he's like, you know, you mean the world to me, and I love you, and you know, some other shit. And once he told me he loved me and I meant the world to him, I was done. Like, I was finished. Like, I'm like, okay, there's something fucking wrong with this guy. I have to go tell somebody. So I kind of went like around the corner and told my mom, I'm like, come here. And she's like, what? And I'm like, come here, you know. And then she like gets up from the computer and she comes walking around the stairs, comes up the stairs, and I'm like, so-and-so, Mr. whatever told me this and this and this and this and that on the phone. And she's like, you know, my mom got that face, like, she looks really mean. She was so pissed at this point. And I said, no, I never did anything with him. I don't even know why he's calling. He kept calling. My mom tells my brothers, you know, don't answer the phone or whatever. And at this point, they kind of knew something was wrong, but we didn't go into detail and tell them. Like, I just kept it quiet. And I went to school when break was off, and then I was trying to avoid this guy. And he like came through the cafeteria, and I told my friend, I'm like, dude, like he's right there. Like, I don't want to even walk by. And she's like trying to hide me, but me being as tall as I am, and she was as short as she was, she couldn't hide my big ass. So we like walking, and he like fucking follows me and ambushes me, and he's like, Leslie. And then I stop, and he's like, I meant what I said on the phone. And he like touched my shoulder, and I'm just like cringing on the inside. I just want to throw up. So I just felt so uncomfortable the rest of that day. Then by like my 5th period, 6th period, I don't know, 7th period, whatever, I had like an art class, and I was like hiding. The teacher was like, you know, yelling at me like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm hiding from Mr. whatever, you know. My friend explained to her, she's like, oh, okay, you know, like she was like weirded the fuck out by it. And my math teacher had like algebra or something, and then like we told her because my cousin was there, and I told her what happened, and she's like freaking out about it. She tells the teacher, and the teacher is like weirded out, like what's going on, you know. But this all of this that happened, he was calling my house afterwards. He hung up on my brother. He yelled at my younger brother, hung up on my younger brother, and then like he wanted to talk to me, but it was already like done with. He wanted to like settle out of court, give my mom money to pay for my education, and she was like, no, you know, like my mom was pissed at this point. So I wanted nothing to do with this. Like the pictures that he had of me, he gave them back to the police, and then like we had to go to court over a restraining order that I have lifted when I was 18, and I moved away. So it was a big mess. And even in the, like, when we had the restraining order, like, I ran into him and I was really uncomfortable. I seen him at graduation. I was uncomfortable. Well, that was the whole point of a restraining order, when you're just going to see this person, you know, this person's going to pop up anywhere you go. And I just felt so dirty. I felt so uncomfortable. And I didn't even do anything with this person. Like, this person just came out of nowhere and just, like, wanted to, like, talk to me and hang out with me and stuff. And I don't know why. I mean, I was young, you know, and I wasn't even allowed to go back to school for a long time. Like, I was kept out of school. I had a restraining order. Um, Everybody knew this. My name was in the paper and the newspaper when I was 14. And it was so embarrassing. Like, I would never want any kid to go through this, you know? And it was embarrassing, but I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to see my friends. I wanted to see my cousins, you know? And they were like, you know, the lawyers had to ask me questions and stuff. And it was just, it was bad, you know? Like, I'm not mad at this person for doing this, but I don't know why you did it. I forgive you for this. I don't hold it against you, you know? Even if you were to speak to me today, you know, just an apology would be okay, you know? I mean, you're not supposed to stay mad at people. It's like, life is all about forgiving, and I've done that, you know? I'm at peace now with all of this. But at the time, it was just a little, you know, I was confused. I was young. I didn't know. And I did run into this person like a couple years back a few times, which left me in a really uncomfortable situation because I felt like, you know, I felt bad. Like, I felt like I really messed a lot of things up, but only because I was not comfortable. And I wasn't able to do things that I wanted to do, and I didn't understand why he was doing things that he was doing to a 14-year-old kid, you know? But I'm not mad at him. I'm over it. Just be careful with who you trust and who you let your kids go with. And, you know, like, this taught me a valuable lesson, like, trust and, like, if I have kids one day and what not to do and what to do. So, my hair is wild. I am a mess. I'm about to get up from here and go do something with myself, okay? So, don't forget to thumbs up this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Guys, take care. Bye.